Business warfare, how to win the game of business. You know, there are certain principles that we've got to follow. Hey, everybody, my name is Mauricio Garcia. Welcome to another episode of the Conquistador Podcast. This is the podcast that I always do with my friend, mentor, and partner in business, Mr. Hubert Humphrey, to whom I salute this Friday. Hubert, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. It's been an exciting week. I love talking about helping people to reach the epitome of success. That's to become truly a modern-day Alexander, where they can conquer their future. Very few people in life can truly say they've conquered anything. Mm-hmm. And to think that you could learn principles, that you could conquer yourself to be a better husband, better spouse, better wife, better father, mother, just person. These principles are eternal. They're universal in all facets of life.
The minute you decided to do this and made a commitment to do this, I was excited. I'm still excited because I know these are the principles that we all need in order to truly be successful, which is what everybody's looking for these days. But when we're in business, and there's even a great book out there, it doesn't even, I don't remember, it just flew off my mind, but it doesn't matter. It's just that we have to go in the business, and there is certain principles of war that can be brought in the business. So let's cover those in today's episode for people to take note and analyze. Internalize.
We've talked about the mask of command. We've talked about the Alexander complex, and there's a search for Alexander. Several great books that study the life of Alexander, which certainly tell you about the principles of warfare. But there's a more modern book from a few years back called Waging Business Warfare, which is a modern book that I've read many years ago, and it lets you know very quickly that it's a jungle out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's dog eat dog. If you don't eat your own lunch, somebody else will. You got to, sometimes in business you got to do self cannibalization. You got to eat your own.
And that could be misinterpreted. So let's dive into it, because you need the mentality, right, without going into misinterpretation.
I'm not really worried about it being misinterpreted. Everything I ever do can be misinterpreted. That separates the winners from the losers. It's the ones that can get close enough to get the interpretation, and the ones that don't, they lose. So I'm not worried about anybody interpreting. And I said, all I can do is just teach correct principles. They've got to figure it out. And if they can't, come ask me again. We'll tell them again.
I'm going to adopt that. I'm going to adopt that mentality.
All right. I know you as a host, and I know you love your podcast. You want to make sure that we're sensitive to all of God's children, and we are. But there's nothing we can do to make it easy.
I still have a little bit of that political correctness in me.
That's okay. If you didn't have it, we'd probably get kicked off the air here. Both of us doing that. But the thing I'm pointing out here is that it's everybody's got to understand that to go from where they are to where they want to be is going to have to be some changes. There's going to have to be some growth. They're going to have to go through some serious things in life to win. Yep. And they're going to have to, no pain, no gain. But these let's focus on these 8 first principles of warfare. This is from that manual, from this book, and this is also kind of, not only is it discuss the psychology of it in the Waging Business Warfare, but this comes straight out of some of the military handbooks that I've studied. See, I didn't just go get a bunch of popular books to read by authors. I went and got some great military books that are put out by teaching people in the Army and the Marines and all this stuff, and learn these things. Top Gun pilots. But let me just very quickly, just if I can, let me just throw them all out there, and we'll come back and hit 2 or 3 of them, because we'd be here all day trying to talk about everything. It says, number 1, the first of these 8 principles is good leadership is the prerequisite of competitive superiority. In other words, if you're not a good leader, or you don't have good leadership just guiding you, that means somebody that's working on your business, not just somebody dug down in the details of your business, you're going to die. You're going to get lost. The blind lead the blind. They both fall in the ditch. A bad general, a blind general leading a bunch of blind soldiers leads them into defeat. That's what that means. The General Patton, in his great book about how to become a victorious general, he said to become a great general, you got to have number one, a warrior soul. Number two, you got to have knowledge of how to be a great general and how to win, how to do combat. And number three, you got to have ability to build an army. So you got critical mass. But anyway, great leadership starts there, and you got to be that leader. That's the reason why I always talk about a system. Follow our system, and that system is called the leadership format system. It makes you a leader by following the system. And number two, maintain your objective, but be able to adjust your plans. Mm-hmm. Guys, we live in an era today where that's never been. Everything now is by web speed. So you got to be able to adjust your life and your plans. You got to you stay focused. It's that constancy. It's a great phrase I learned 40 years ago. Constancy amidst change. Constancy amidst change. Some things have got to stay constant forever, while certain things around you are going to always be changing. But you don't lose sight of the objective. And number three, and I'm going to come back to this one in just a minute because it's the main one, concentrate your greater strength at the decisive point. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm going to come back to that one. Number four, take the offensive and maintain mobility. In other words, don't sit back on your heels. General Patton used to tell the people he did not believe in digging foxholes. He said, "What the hell you want to dig a foxhole for? I don't want the enemy hit me where I'm at. I want them to hit me where I was. And I don't want to. If you're digging a foxhole, you're basically digging your own grave. Why do I want to help the enemy dig in my own grave? You got to maintain mobility. You got to stay on the offensive. You got to number five, follow the course of least resistance, which as much as you can. Now sometimes there's going to be some obstacles, and you got to go over them, through them, under them. But as much as you can, a system is the best way to make the predictability for you into the path of least resistance.
Yeah,
is a system, and then you've got number six. Achieve security by good intelligence about your competition. In other words, hey, even guys that I know can't compete with me, I want to know what they're doing. Because I want to know how to tell my guys out there what could come around and bother them or not, mm-hmm. and how they need to deal with it. And so you need to know all that stuff. You need to have information. And number seven, make certain all personnel play their part. Make sure everybody is synced up. Everything's in sequence. As much as you can get your people united in your effort and where they all kind of it's like a giant orchestra or choir. If everybody's singing from the same hymnal, same verse, same words, same music and everything, wow, it sounds great. So we want to all get orchestrated where everybody plays their part, kind of everybody lift in place, if you will. And then number eight, the element of the surprise attack. And guys, that's probably what we did more when A.L. Williams came. We snuck up mm-hmm. on the industry and did not have a clue what was about to hit them. They still 40 years later have no clue what hit them. And then when we hit WMA, we come out with Variable Universal Life. Yeah, we dropped a lot of bombs in the previous. Now we're dropping atomic bombs, but they never heard of an atomic bomb when we hit Variable Universal Life. So surprise attack. Do things when they don't think you can do it. When the pandemic's hitting and everybody's just in a panic, mm-hmm. get out and charge. That'll surprise them. So but let's go back. I know I want to hesitate. You may have something you want to say. Then I want to come back to this number three.
I'm just listening, absorbing, and taking the notes basically.
Well, that number three is the key right here.
Yeah, let's go back to the number three. Concentrate greater strength at the decisive moment or decisive point.
That's right. One of the strengths that Napoleon conquered. Napoleon always studied Alexander the Great's style. He built his whole army with his companion cavalry. Mm-hmm. He had all these different things just like he did, and he went out to conquer the known world. He went and tried to beat Russia at all these places, and but his strength was what he would do is that he would send his troops out to engage, and he would watch the enemies. Back in the old days, they had all these armies would line up out there in a kind of a gentleman's warfare, and he would see where the vital point was, where mm-hmm. was the strategic point. He flushed it out. Then he took his companion cavalry, his shock troops, and he led them, and they would go charging right through that decisive point, and he would bring all of his horsepower at that decisive point, and that was the key, and that's what I've always tried to do in our business. Building leaders was my decisive point. Everything I did was trying to build leaders and try to get them to follow a system, and everything became system centric, and so we concentrated our greatest strength at passing this system to thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the country and around other countries, and it's just built these big companies and revolutionized industries because that was our decisive point. And you've got to find what your decisive point in life is, and then put your greatest strengths at it. You know, you mobilize, and you don't get out there and just throw a bunch of stuff at a bunch of different things and get nothing. You know, be in different phases of your career, different moments in time. It's going to require kind of different kind of concentrations and different kind of attacks. But you've got to be sure whatever you're going to do, there's enough concentration of power behind it that it's going to be successful in that particular endeavor. And then on to the next one, and then on to the next campaign.
I think that was a great podcast today. I know you've got something important to get to, Hubert, and you still made time to be here in this last podcast of this week. I want to thank you for that, and I'll wrap it up. I'll take it from here. Have a great weekend, everybody. Great weekend, Hubert. And Andres, if you can put the camera on me, or Hubert, I don't know if you want to have any last comments for the people that are tuning in today before you go.
Hey, get your sword, get your white horse, and let's go charge out there and conquer your future.
I love it. Have a great weekend, Hubert. Hey, and before you actually tune into something else, I just want to remind you that the best opportunity in America is the opportunity that has been created by Hegemon Group International, which is the main sponsor of this podcast, bringing you the real secrets that can take you from where you are today to where you want to go. And I say that over and over again because I know we all want to accomplish more. We want to be more significant. We want more for our life, for our families. And so we need a vehicle to do that. And the best vehicle right now is right in front of you. It's called HGI Opportunity. So go to hgiopportunity.com. Check it out. You can thank me later. With that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in every single day. Our commitment is here with you, and we will continue to do so as long as you continue to tune in. So we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Best of wishes.
Bye-bye.
Warning, this podcast may change the way you think about business, entrepreneurship, and money forever. The Conquistador Podcast was created for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to conquer their future. To be an epic entrepreneur, you must adopt the right mental paradigms as well as master the art of selling, marketing, and finance.